Hi. So in this lecture, I will walk you through the entire process that I take when I have to build a professional website for a client. So from start to finish, what I do, the process is I go through how I go through the planning and everything, and finally customizing the actual website on WordPress. So this entire course does not involve coding at all, and you don't need to have any prior knowledge of coding to be able to do this. You just need to have a client that wants something, and you can absolutely do this. So this is a complete beginner tutorial, and right now we're just going to jump into it. All right, so the first thing you want to do is plan the site. Plan all the different details of what you want your site to be, and the different things the client want on their website. Once you have that plan, it makes your life easier when you start building, because okay, this is everything I'm supposed to do. Things get added as you start building. You don't necessarily have everything when you start. Things come halfway through. At the end, the client might have extra ideas which they want to put into their website. So obviously things will come as time goes, but then as much as possible you want to have the initial idea from the start. Okay, so this website I'm building is for an organization. It is a youth group that sort of organizes different events, and the client sort of had a vague idea of what they wanted in the website. It was kind of simple. They came to me and said, okay, we want a website where we can showcase who we are, what we do, and also we want one where people can easily donate to the cause. So that was the general idea that the client gave to me. And so now I have to use my imagination for all sorts of different things. So the first thing we want to do is what the name of the brand is, or what the which is what the site title of our website is going to be. So this brand is called Yex, but they would like their website to be called Yex Camp, which is because a lot of their social media channels are called Yex Camp. So they want everything to sort of link up. So now I have to plan what the website is about and the different things that I want to put on the website. So first of all, I know it's going to be kind of a content website. So that automatically means lots of pictures. Okay. Secondly, I also need a lot of about the brand, what the brand does. This is also, related to about the brand, where the brand is located. And then at this point, I'm just going to put etc. So it varies depending on the kind of client you're creating the website for. So summarily, what it is you just need as much details about the brand as much as possible. So next up, what we want is the logo of the brand, so we can put that up on the website too. Now I also like having a section where I call it what they want. In this situation, the client has made life easy, which is that they don't necessarily want a lot of things. I've worked with some clients where it's that they have their brand image, the brand vibe, and a lot of all the different things, specific needs that they want. But this client simply said they want a section where donations can be made, a section where pictures can be displayed. That's simply all the client asked for. If your client wants more, then this is the point where you add all the different details that your client is asking for, so that you keep everything outlined and you know what you're doing. So the type of website is sort of a non-profit organization, sorry. So it's basically just a display website. Right. So for now, this is all I have regarding the brand that I'm building this website for. Um, Sometimes when we get to this stage in our company, we tend to have, as much as 10 pages sometimes, depending on the brand and depending on the need the client wants. So in that kind of situation, you just want to keep adding content here as much as possible. Add everything you can get from the beginning into this section, and sort of create them into different sections where you can easily find what you need from the different things. Okay, so for this is very basic. This is all we have. This is all we need to work with. And now we're going to go into starting with the website. Now, with other forms of designing professional websites, after you plan what you want, the next step is kind of like a wireframing section where you sort of sketch the website on paper, and next you go into actually designing it with a software like Sketch or like Photoshop and all that. And that's the point where you bring in a UI UX designer and sort of gets everything working, and then you bring a website developer programmer. But this website is going to be completely built using WordPress, so we don't need to go through all those steps. We're just going straight as a beginner to building a professional website. Now we have planned the website. The next thing we want to do is buy the domain name. So what you want to do is go to whatever domain name provider you have used before. If you haven't used, there are a ton of them. There's hostgator.com, there's godaddy.com, and tons of them out there. So it's honestly your preference, whichever one you want to. But I like using HostGator because my hosting is with them. So I'll go to hosting right after this. But I like using HostGator because I want the domain name to be bought from the same place where I buy my hosting, so that everything is easily linked and I don't have to go through the long process of trying to link the domain name from a different provider to hosting from a separate provider. So the first thing I want to do is just search my website title and domain name, the proposed one that the client wants. And if it's available, then you just want to buy that. If it's not available, speak to the client, let them come up with like different variations of what they want their website name to be. And once you finally find one that you like, you can try different variations as well, like .co.uk, if it's niche specific, .ng, .au, and all that. So this one that we want is available, so that's the one we're going to buy. So I'm just going to remove this. We don't need this. I searched this earlier with the client to sort of see the different variations that we have. So we don't want privacy protection. We just want the domain name. Now, usually the client might actually have their own domain name, or you could have them buy this because it's going to be on their account. So in this situation, I'm buying it on my account. And then as soon as I'm done building the website, I'll transfer it to an account I create for them. But then if you're doing it professionally, you might want to create a different account for the client, or if they have one already, use theirs. So we're just going to get that domain right now. I think the more you buy, the more discount you get or something. So let me just check with GoDaddy and see if I have a better pricing range, because I know sometimes they give you discounts if you're buying more than 1 year. So I'm just going to search it here. Excam.com. Alright, so they said it's available. I only want .com. I don't want .co.uk. So let's add to cart and let's see how much it's going to work out to if we buy it for 2 years. So if it's not going to be cheaper with GoDaddy, then we will probably just go use HostGator. If you want, you can get this privacy protection, and honestly, it's kind of advisable because when you register a domain, you have to put in your details, and the privacy protection sort of puts them in a lock and key. So it makes it impossible or hard for people to get your personal details. So you can do that, but I usually don't do that because I don't necessarily put my personal details as the company details I want. So I don't want to build a website on GoDaddy. I don't want hosting. I don't want email address. So this is a professional email address. I think this one is via Office 365. Another one is using Google services where you can have your name or whatever you want at your domain.com, or just your domain. It could be .co.uk or whatever. That way you can have a more professional email address for the website. So you can tell your client this, and if it's something they're interested in, I think it's something you pay for every single month. So you want to have them take note of that. So let's just continue to check out, and we just want to see the price. So if I'm getting it for 2 years, it's about £17. And I think £17 is almost the same as $30. Well, the difference isn't that much, so I'm probably just going to do it that way. If you wanted a cheaper option, then obviously I think GoDaddy is usually cheaper than things like this. But I'm not going to do that right now because the client is okay with the pricing that this is offering. So we're just going to go with that. So we're going to continue to check out and then just pay for that. All right, so what I ended up doing was actually buying it through GoDaddy. Now, the reason why is because I'm not sure what was wrong with HostGator, but it was just stuck on this page for like forever, and I had to buy it. So I just came on GoDaddy. It was cheaper anyway, so I just bought it. So now what I have to do is, because I already have my hosting platform with HostGator, what I have to do is I need to come into GoDaddy and change the name servers of my where my domain name is pointing to. So name servers are simply where, when you buy a domain name, is pointed to a hosting name server which is unique to your hosting account. Now if you had a GoDaddy hosting account which is connected to the account you used to buy the domain, it's going to get automatically sent or pointed to that account. But because I want it to point to HostGator, I am going to edit these name servers here to my HostGator name servers. Okay, so if I go to the dashboard of my cPanel in HostGator, which is my hosting platform, I can now go to see my unique name servers, which I would input into here, and that is where my domain is going to get pointed to, and then I can begin doing whatever I want to my domain from, my hosting. So this is my primary name server. You have both a primary and a secondary name server. You just have to log into the cPanel of your hosting account to find that, and then you need to change the primary and the secondary name server in the account where you want to send your domain names to. So I'll post the first name server. I'll go back in there. Sorry, it's just this one. Oh no, that one. And then this is my secondary name server. I want to come in here and paste that, and then I'll just add. Oh no, sorry. All right, so those are the two name servers, and then I want to save. So that way it gets pointed there. So I think it's done now. Now, it might not get shown up immediately, so you might have to wait like about maximum 1 hour for this to work. And again, if you get confused, say for instance you're using a different platform like Bluehost, and you don't really understand how to work your way through changing the name servers, just contact their support. All these platforms usually have their own support system, and you just need to contact them, and they would have that sorted for you or tell you how to do that. Now I think it's been done already, because it says we can't display your DNS information because your name servers aren't managed by us. So I think that's been done. So we're just gonna go into HostGator now, our cPanel, and see if that comes up. So in our cPanel, what we want to do is add an add-on domain. So you have a primary domain in your cPanel, and then if you want to add extra domains, you have to add them as add-on domains. So what I do here is I type in the domain name, which I have just purchased, and I click away. It automatically puts in my subdomain for me, which is www. And the document root and everything. I don't have to type anything there, and I just click on add domain. Now subdomains are something which you can also add later. That's if you wanted to have an additional website on the same domain. So say for instance, instead of www.yexcamp, maybe I wanted to have studio.yexcamp.com. So let's imagine this company had a studio, so they want it to be a different website but still on the same domain name. A lot of brands use that a lot, but if that was the case, then what you have to change is the subdomain. All right, so I'm just going to click on add domain, and okay, www cannot be used in subdomain. Oh right, I made a mistake. So in this part, you do not want to type a www. It says it as as a notice, but I don't know how I forgot that. So you just want to type your domain name, which is yexcamp.com, click away, and your subdomain is yexcamp, and just click add domain, and that should get sorted now. So remember, do not type www dot into the new domain name section. So as you can see, the domain name has now been added. So what we want to do next is go into our dashboard again, and now we want to install WordPress on that domain name. If you're using HostGator, then this is going to look exactly like mine, but if you're using something different, it should be similar, but just try to explore and work your way around the entire thing, and you should see what exactly you're looking for. So now this are the settings for this website, which is umove.ng. So I want to change that to the domain name I just added and edit that instead. So now I am on the settings for yexcamp.com. Now installing WordPress is super easy. It's right here. HostGator has provided us an option to just easily click it without having to try to look for where to put that in. With other hosting platforms, some of them are usually quite hard to find. So as soon as we click install WordPress or the WordPress installer or whatever it shows in yours, then we're going to put in details, and then WordPress is going to get installed on our domain name. So next we need to select the domain we want to install WordPress on. You can leave the directory blank and just click next. So now you want to select the title of your website. You can always change this later, but for now you just want to put one. Select the username of the admin who will be logging into your website. You could always add more accounts later, but for now just put that there. And I'm just going to put the first and last name as Yexcamp. Doesn't really matter. You could always change that later. So I'm just going to put lush@gmail.com here for the admin email. I select, I agree to the terms of service agreement and install. So that should install WordPress on my website. It should take about a minute or maximum 2 minutes. And once that is done, we can now go into editing the website. So to edit the website, we need this credentials, so the username and this exact password. So we have to copy the entire password and paste that. We could always change that once we log in, and that's what we're gonna do, but for now we're just gonna Command C and copy that. So you can go straight to your website login link, which is your back end from here, but for now we're not going to do that. We're actually going to type in the domain name. So the domain name you want to type in is www dot your website, which is yexcamp slash WordPress WP and then dash admin. So this is how you log into the back end of your website. So it's your domain name slash WP admin for a website which you build on WordPress. Oh, sorry, that just searched it on Google. So we need to type it as an actual website and not Google. So now that should load. Now, if yours doesn't load immediately, just give it like an hour or maximum 2 hours. It usually takes a few minutes or hour like that for it to get propagated around the internet. But mine got done almost immediately. So if yours is not the case, if you try to, log in, search this website and it shows you that, then I think that's just what you need to do. Just wait, be patient with it. All right, so we pasted a password we copied from earlier, and now we're going to log in and actually start with building our website. So as soon as we log into the backend of our website, this is the first thing we see. So all you see right now are sort of the demo content that WordPress provides on your website. So now what we need to do is delete the demo contents that are on the website. So we want to check all the different sections and see what demo contents are there, and then we just sort of delete them. Here is the, sorry, I just accidentally clicked that. Here is the post section. This is sort of where if you had a blog on your website, they all get arranged into. So when I'm editing, I like having my website actually open on another tab so that I can always cross-check the changes I make in there. So right now, this is the demo content that WordPress put on our website. which is the demo blog. So I just wanted you to see that before we delete it. So we'll just take that out, which is move to trash, and apply. Now it's always going to be put in the trash section. So if you accidentally delete something you don't want, as long as you don't go into trash and re-delete it, then it's always going to be in trash, and you can just go there, find it, and restore it. So we also want to delete all the pages, move to trash. The reason why I skip this is there's usually no content there on the demo when you just install WordPress. Comments too, usually not, but I'll just check it to make sure. Yeah, there's nothing there. And next we want to go into plugin. Once we come into the plugin sections, we want to first deactivate the plugins. If we click apply, that sort of deactivates all the different plugins. Now, plugins are kind of like additional functions to your website. So if you realize, for the sake of this lecture, we're going to call this section, we're going to refer to this place as tabs, okay? So now if you realize, as soon as we deactivated them, a lot of tabs from here disappeared because they were plugins. So all these other ones are plugins, but then those ones came with kind of the default content that WordPress installed. So that's why you were seeing them there. So we don't need any of that. As soon as we import a theme, then we can use the plugins that come with our own theme. We don't need the one that WordPress provides. So that's about it. Now we're ready to start customizing our website. The next section is to select a theme. Now there are different places where you can select a theme or template from. So again, in this lecture we're going to be using theme and template interchangeably, so they relatively mean the exact same thing. Now to find a theme, you would always go to appearance, themes, and see the different options of themes that WordPress offers you. These are the basic ones that are usually on your website when you install WordPress. We usually don't need any of that. Another option is to check, if you click on add new, you can check like the store with WordPress provides. Now there are a lot of free themes here. You can just search one related to what you want, and majority of them have basic content for free, but we don't want that because usually they have like a pro version where you have to pay for, and I personally don't feel like the functions are that advanced enough. Maybe I have not really explored through the entire thing, but you can check here for a free theme to get you started and editing your website. But if not, if you have a client who knows what they want and you're not just creating a content website, and you actually want to create a specialized website, like say for instance a real estate platform, now what you want to search for is themeforest.net. So it's this marketplace where a lot of people sell themes. So we're just going to search through that to see which one we actually want, and once we find the one we want, we can download it and then install it on our website. So we'll be doing that in the next section. So as soon as you find a theme you want to work with, if you got the theme from ThemeForest, the next step you want to take is to download the theme. Now you need to click this drop down and it has different options. Now if I start from the bottom, you have the license certificate and the purchase code. Now some themes require to actually put in the purchase code or like a license code, if you like. So this is where you can get that from. This is a text version and this is a PDF version. Now here is just the WordPress file only, where you only install what you need from WordPress. Now I don't advise you do that because a lot of times some themes come packaged with like a lot of plugins which the developer puts in the files and documentation zip folder, which is provided to you if you use this option. So I just don't advise you download the WordPress file only. So this is what you want to do. So if you select that and then you just click download and it gets downloaded. Now once it gets downloaded, what you have is a zip folder which contains a lot of things. The first thing you want to do is extract that zip folder, and as soon as you're done extracting that zip folder, you need to search the zip folder for your theme zip file. Now, I'll take that again. You need to, first of all, extract that zip folder. It's as easy as just double clicking on it. And then you need to find your themes zip folder. It's just going to be your theme name.zip. Now, there's also going to be another option, which is going to be your theme name, but it's going to have a child text next to it. So what that means is the exact same version of your theme, but then it's more complicated in the sense that you can edit that one. So if you wanted to make changes to the code of your original theme, um, you can go to the child theme and do that first to see how it would work before you implement it into the main section of your theme. Now, summarily, if you want to install a theme on WordPress, you first need to download all files and documentation from here, and then go extract that folder, and now find the zip folder of your actual theme. So as soon as you found it, we're going to go into WordPress and install that. So now this is the WordPress section where you go to from appearance and clicking on themes, and you want to click on upload theme. So you need to choose the zip format of your theme. Remember, do not try to install the entire folder because that is not what you need. You need just the zip of the actual theme. So we're going to choose file from our computer and click install now. So if I go into themes, I can find the actual zip folder of my theme that I want to install. So what you want to do is double click on that, and then it gets extracted, and you can now open it and see what I was talking about. Now all these different things are things related to your theme. It has a licensing folder, but for this actual theme you might not need to worry about that because it sort of does everything automatically for you. But for some themes you might need to come in here and actually search the code for your license to put into activating the theme. So what I'm going to do is, this is what I'm going to install on WordPress, not the child version but the original version. So if I come into here and choose file, I can double click that and I can see my zip folder, and I click choose, and that should install. If I click on install now, shouldn't take that long. You should get installed almost immediately, and once it's installed, then we can activate the theme. Now you don't just install a theme, you actually have to activate it. If you see the different themes here, they're actually not here on your actual theme section because this is kind of like the store right now, so they are actually activated there. So we're going to do that as soon as this is done installing. Right, so the theme has been installed successfully, and next we want to activate the theme. So it's been activated, and now we can begin with customizing our website using the theme we just installed. Now for this website, it comes with some plugins. So as I said, plugins are functions that are added to your site. Now, this developer provided some plugins that make the website actually work. So what you want to do is just click begin installing plugins, and it would show you a list of the plugins that come packaged with the theme. And then some of them are required, some of them are recommended, but I would advise every option you get here, you just want to install every single one of them. So you click install and then click apply. So as soon as they've been installed, you want to go into actual plugins section again and activate what you just installed. So if you click this checkbox here to have everything selected, select activate and click apply, and all the plugins which you just installed would get activated, and then you start to see new tabs show up here which are proportional to the plugins. So as soon as the plugins are all activated, the next thing we want to do is import demo content. Now, this part is usually different based on the theme you are using. It's usually at the, what you're looking for is usually around the bottom section of your tabs. It could be called, install demo content. It could be under appearance. So just explore these whole entire section and just try to find it. Now for this one, it's simply in code import. If you still can't find it, you want to refer to the documentation of the developer. So what is the documentation of the developer? So if you bought your theme from Theme Forest, they usually offer a documentation which is sort of a manual to the theme. So you would most probably find a section there that has something to do with installing demo content. But if in the rare occasion where you can't find a documentation, or you can't find what you're looking for in a documentation, you can just always contact the developer and they will help you with that. Now for this theme, We just have to go to code import and import the demo content that we want. Now, the developer usually has different variations for you to select from. It's usually not that much, but in this situation, the theme I bought is kind of like a multi-purpose theme. So it has like different, I think over 400 and something different themes that you can select from. Oh, I think it's just about 200 and something. I used to think it was 400 and all right. So what you just need to do is find the exact one that you want, the option that they gave you, and select that. I think the one I want is the Jasper one. Yeah, so that's it. I checked the live preview. So again, if you bought it from Theme Forest, you would have a live preview option where you can actually sort of explore the site without actually buying it. And I like the vibe of this one. Now it isn't related to what we want to create because ours is kind of like a U group thing. This is a jazz bar, but still we can always edit it, which is what we're going to go into. So we'll select the type of import. We want to import everything, which includes all their content and everything. We're always going to delete the ones we don't want. We want to import attachments too, and click import. Now it's going to start importing. Now if yours stays as about maybe 80% or a number for like a lot of minutes, say like 20 minutes, then you know there's a problem with it. It happens a lot. I don't know why, but it happens a lot, you know, with our experience with installing demo content. So what you want to do is just refresh the page and start the import all over again. But usually it just works just fine. Like right now, I think it's going to be just fine. But just in case it's not, if you have that problem where you're stuck at a particular number for too long, then you want to refresh the page and start that all over again. All right, sweet. So now the import is complete, and if we go to our website and refresh, we should see a brand new website without we doing anything. All we just had to do was import demo content. So now our website is starting to look professional even without doing anything. So now we still have to add a lot more to this pages, but you can see a lot of the structure is already in place based on what the developer provided for us in the demo content. So here we go. This is the home page, and we can see the different functions that and sections that are in our website. There's a lot of other things we're going to add, but for now, this is what we have, and we're going to work with this and start customizing. Now, as we build our website, different things will be coming up in terms of what we have to do. So in this situation right now, the next thing we want to do is plan additional content for our website. So here we're going to be talking about the menu of our website. So what does the client want on the menu of their website? Now, first of all, they want a home page. Now this client also wants an about us page. So we can call that about us. They also mentioned that they want a donate page where people can easily go and donate to the brand. We're going to make that last, so we're just going to put that there. What else did the developer? So we want an events page, and finally a register page. Do they actually want a register page? Because they want a section where you can search to whatever upcoming events are there, and a register one sort of takes you to the present event, and then you can register without having to go through searching through events and actually finding the one to register for. I think it's better if both of them are just, you know, the same, because yeah, it doesn't really make sense to have a different register section. All right, so this is what we're going to work with for now. We're going to have the homepage, about us, events, and donate. Maybe as we go on, we're going to have other ideas on pages we can add. Like right now, I'm thinking of having a gallery page where they can have their different pictures and upload. Sorry, just made a mistake. Gallery page. Now you can always add more stuff later. Don't worry about it if you don't know what you want to add right now. All right, so now we have the menu, and we can go into our website and customize the menu section of our site. Now, once you start with your website, you want to go into pages. All right, so you want to go into pages and delete the. So when you install demo content, they give you a lot of pages. A lot of them you do not need, so you want to delete the ones you don't need or don't want to use, and then work around. I think this one simply didn't install all the different. Right. So with this website, it's very fascinating. Would really enjoy editing this website. Your website might not be the same thing, but this website is a one-page website. What does that mean? So if you come here and click on about, it's on the same page. Okay, it's not gonna work right here because we've not really edited our website, but let's go to the developer's demo website. If we click on about, it just scrolls to a section of the page. If we click on featured, it's a section of the page. Blog, a section, theme, and then finally contact. So these are in different pages like normal website which you're used to, where you click on and it opens a different page. So this is just a single page website, and you can have different sections and have the menus, take you to a different part. So which is really beautiful, and that's what we want to work with. So that is why if you go to pages, you only have one page. Now if your website is different, your theme is different, then you're probably going to have a lot of pages here. So what you want to do is delete the pages you feel like you don't need, and also your developer might offer you different variations of the homepage. You could have homepage 1, homepage 2, homepage 3, and on like that. So what you want to do is open them in different pages, see which of them you want, and the ones you don't want, just delete them, and delete all the other pages you feel like you don't need right now. Don't worry, just like with everything, they're always going to be in trash. When you start editing the website, if you feel like, oh, there's something I need, then you can always replace that. All right, great. So now we're going to go into menu to customize our menu. So you want to go there via appearance and menus. Now, so this is the menu page. They have different, this is where you can edit different types of menus. Now, so some websites could have a mobile menu, some could have the main menu, some could also have like a footer menu. So in this situation, what we want to edit is the main menu. So we want to, from this select a menu to edit, we select that and then select the menu we actually want to edit. So I think in this situation, it's the right top navigation menu. If we're not sure, we just select that and click on select to see the different options that we have there. And if it's the one, then we know, okay, that's what we're working with. So, right. So with this website, if you notice, it has, the logo here, and then it has some menu items to the right hand side and some menu items to the left hand side. So what they did was they divided into two different types of menus. So the left hand side is a left menu section and the right hand side is a right menu section. So it just really makes it easy for you to edit the website. So we're going to start off with the left menu navigation. Now yours is probably going to be different if you're using a different theme, but this is actually I don't think I've ever worked on a website like this before with this kind of theme, so it makes it even more interesting that we can see a lot more functions that we didn't really experience in the previous ones. So what they currently have here are the menu items which they have on their demo website. Now just a quick introduction into this page you're looking at. Here's where you edit the menus. Now, if you click here, you can select and manage locations of your menu. So say, for instance, you want to select what menu shows up for your mobile navigation, so that if people visit your website on a phone, what menu they see. Now, I'm guessing if you don't select any menu here, it's going to be the default menu, which is your a normal left and right menu item, but you could always select a new one here. A full screen navigation menu, that's if you wanted a menu that takes the entire screen and isn't divided by the logo, but this is the one we're using right now. So it's basically just managing the locations of what different sections provide. So now we're going to go back into editing menu. Now here you have add menu items. Okay, so here you can easily add items to your menu. So if you wanted to add let's say from your page you wanted to add a privacy policy menu item, so you just have to select the page and click add to menu. Here if you wanted to add like a blog, you just click on the blog you want to add and click add to menu. If you wanted to add a custom link, this is a link to somewhere maybe on your website or on a different website. You just have to type the URL of the website here and type the text you want displayed on your menu here. And finally, categories. If your website had categories and you wanted to display a particular category, you could also do that by having a link to the category just pasted here, but it makes life easy. Now, your theme might have lots of other different options here, so you just want to explore the different things. So now what we want to work with is this menu structure. Now, the locations can also be done from here. You know what the settings we encountered here can also be done from here. If you wanted to delete this menu, you delete it. When you edit a menu, you want to click save menu, either of these two save menu buttons here, and you'll be good to go. All right, so first of all, yes, we want a home page, which is already there. We want an about page, which again is already there. And do we want a featured page? No, not necessarily. We do not want a featured page, so we want to click remove. So I think the other thing we had on our on the plan we made for the menus is we have events, gallery, and donate. So I think we're going to put that on the right hand side. So first of all, we need to save the menu. I think the client also wanted this to be called about us. Doesn't really make a difference. It just depends on the client and what exactly they want. So we're going to save that menu. Now we're going to go to the right hand side and click select. And here we want to have events, gallery, and we just change that to events. We would edit the contents of this later. Change that to events. Oh, sorry, we have to save it. Navigation label, events, theme. We want to change that to gallery. And finally, we want a donate page. Okay, so now we're done with that. We're gonna save this menu. So if we click on save menu, we should start to see the changes that we just made shown. So this have changed to events, gallery, and finally donate. So if we refresh our website, we should begin to see the changes we just made. So we have the home, about us, events, gallery, and donate. Now, I don't like how there's 2 here and 3 here. It just doesn't satisfy my design sense. So I'm going to speak to the client and see if they want something else here, or if we could remove one of them and maybe have just a section about it here. We don't have to put it in the menu, so it doesn't have to be in the menu to be on the website. Okay, so say for instance the gallery, they don't have to have a button here which they can easily click on. They can just scroll down and see it on the website. So I'm going to speak to the client and see what they want. Okay, so the client said they wouldn't mind a contact page there, and so we're going to go to, now they want the events to be on the other side, so what we're going to do is change this to contact. I think I want this to sort of, so if gallery is here first, yeah, so you could easily move your menu items with just like selecting on it, left clicking, and then drag it. Now menus have hierarchies, so you have, which is a primary menu right here, and if you wanted a menu item to be underneath another menu item, you can have it like that. That way, if you click on the menu and you hover on it, you would see another option to click on. But in this case, we just want it primary, so we're not going to do that. We're going to change this to contact, and that is going to be left as donate. So we're not going to change add to the left section an event part. So which is this, select. So to do that, we just have to add a page. So you remember the way the website is a one page. So what we're adding is on the home page, we add a menu, and then we can edit the label of that to say event. So we have the home, about us, and events. Right, so if we now refresh our website, we should start to see the menu items updated and should look like what we want exactly. So now it's a home, about us, events, gallery, contact, and finally donate. So now what we're going to do is go into pages, the home page, which is where everything is, and now start editing this different sections. All right, so now that I think about it, I think it would be even better if we had, oh, where did that go? I think I might have accidentally deleted the About Us section. Let me just refresh the page to be sure, because I don't think I've saved the menu yet. All right, so I think I accidentally deleted the About Us section. So I'm just going to add the page to menu again and drag this up. Remember, not a secondary as a primary. Now I'm going to change that to About Us. That's About Us. Okay. Now I'm going to change this to register. So the idea is the events that these organization offers will be put in the About Us section, and if they want to automatically like register for an event, they just have to click on register, and it would take them straight to the registration panel. So it made more sense to us when we had to sit down again. So remember how I said a lot of changes will come as you work on your website. So if I refresh that, I should start to see that. Now, if I go to pages, this is where we're going to start our main editing right now. So your life is so much easier because everything is on one page. Okay, so just a brief introduction to this section. If you hover over this, you have edit, quick edit, trash, and view. From the right to the left, the view is where you can click to see the page. Trash is where you can delete the page and then it goes into the trash section. Quick edit is where you can edit little things about the page like the title and the slug and other things like the date and all that. We don't want that right now, so we're going to cancel. And the edit is where we're actually going into. So if we click on edit, then we can go into our actual section. Now, the reason why it's possible to create a website as professional as this without coding is because of a lot of platforms like this have built something that helps you visually edit your website, and they do the code in the back end. Okay, so the reasons why we're seeing this visual edit kind of thing is because they have done it for the code for us in the back end. So if we drag something in here, it automatically puts in a code for us in the back end, and we don't have to worry about that. Now, the one this theme uses is called WordPress Bakery Page Builder. Sorry, yours might be something like Elementor. I think these are the two most famous ones. They're almost the exact same thing, although their interfaces are kind of different. So you just have to explore and see what the different one does. But for the WordPress Bakery Page Builder, this button is to add a new element. So elements that are provided by WordPress, default elements, and then elements that are provided by the developer. So if you wanted to add a function to your website, what they are elements. So if you wanted a section of your website to say, for instance, have a quote, you just have to select this element and drag it wherever you want on your website. Now, you can see here about settings about the entire page. Now, if you made a change, this button will light up and you can undo, and this is a redo, and this is where you can expand this edit section to a full screen. Okay, so now if you look at the right hand side, this is where you can publish the page. Every time you make a change here, you want to select update for it to be shown in the live view. Here it shows if it's published. If you click on edit, you can say if you want it to be pending review or if you want it to save it as a draft. So if you're working with a team and maybe you had an editor, you can save that as a draft, and then your editor would check it and then publish it. Visibility is if you want it public or private or password protected. Revision. So this is another way to undo changes you've made, but in this situation, it doesn't undo single changes that you made one after the other. It revises the page to the previous time you pressed update. So every time you press this update button, a log is created. So if you made a change and you want to restore it, maybe you did some error that makes your website look ugly, then you could always go back here to revisions and work scroll around to sort of see the last revision you made to your website and just go back, and then it goes back to whenever you select, which is either the previous time you press update or whenever that was. Page attributes, it if you want your page to be a full width page, or select the other options that the developer offers. Because this is a home page, is usually what they select here, but you can change it. It's basically templates that they have provided. So if you wanted to create a website for a contact page website, for instance, okay, you could just, once you select to add new page, and then you can come to the template here and just select the template you want. It makes it easier for you instead of having to create all these sections by yourself. All right, now let's go into the main section of the edit. Now, they are divided into different sections. So this is a section from top to down. This is a section. This is another section from top to down. So what this means in the live view are, so from this point to this point is one section. From this point to this point is another section. From this point is to this point is another section, and it goes on and on like that. So sections are from top to down. But then you might ask me, why is this section taking a large space than this one? Are these three different sections? Yes, they are in the real sense of things, but what they are is they're still in the same group of sections, but they're individual sections. Now, here's where you can drag sections up and down. If you just left click this and drag, you can move it wherever you want. Here's where you can change the rows of your website. So if you wanted your website to take the entire page, this section, if you wanted the section to be half and half, so 1/2 plus 1/2, if you wanted the section, the left hand side to be, the content displays on the left hand side to be bigger than the content displayed on the right hand side, you can do that here, and then all the other options that are there. So in this section is using this 3 which sort of shows um there are three different sections in the group. Now here's where you can add a new section to your page. Here you can close or open the section. When you have a lot of sections, it might get clumsy, so it's easy if you're not editing something at the moment, just close that point. Next, we want to edit, if we want to edit this row. So these settings are for editing the entire section. So there are some settings that apply to the entire section. This is where you create or edit them. Here's where you can duplicate the section, and here's where you can delete the section. And if you deleted it by accident, just go up and this place will be lightened up and you can undo. So we're going to do that right now. And then if we undo, it comes back to what we had previously. Now, this is another edit button, but this just edits the individual column. So it doesn't edit the entire section like this. Now, all the other elements, so these are elements. Remember I told you how you can just add an element and then drag it into a section. Every edit element has its own edit button. Okay, so this is for the entire column, this is for the entire section, and this are for the individual elements. Right, so you can delete columns from here. You can add sections to this column, or sort of add element to this column from here. And that's about it with the basic understanding of the buttons. If you did that, it should be able to, now if you hover over this, you can see what they all mean, so you don't have to cram everything in your head for now. So remember, this is duplicate, this is delete, this is edit, and this is add. All right, so now we're going to start with editing the website. So what I like doing is I go back and forth between the front end display and the back end editing, so to see what I'm editing at that particular moment. So this is the first section, where it's practically the second section, but in editing we don't usually call this the, in WordPress editing we don't call this a section, it's the header. Okay, not necessarily the header, because this is the header of your website, but for the sake of right now, let's just call it the header. It's more like the slideshow of your website, but we'll get to that in a second. You cannot edit this from your page settings. Is in a different section or a different tab that you make changes to this part. So this is the first section. It's the about us. So in the developer website, demo website, they had that as the about us section. Now, so we want to create content around this. So for a beginner, as much as possible, you want to try to work around what the developer offers you. So you've selected a theme you like, you've selected a demo option that you like, you want to try to work around that. You can add sections, which we're going to do. Say for instance, we need a donate section, which these developer does not offer because it's not a donation website. So we're going to do that, which is add some sections. But as much as possible, as a beginner, you want to work with what the developer provides you, and just you know, see how you can edit that or delete the ones you do not need. So we're going to start off with the About Us section of this brand and see how it goes. Now, the first thing you see here is a text block. So they use this as a title. If you wanted to add a new text box, all you just have to do is click on add element and then come here and find text block, which is that, and then you can make changes to the settings like the font and the size and everything like that from here. Now, this is a visual editing of the text, but as with everything, there's always a code to the back end. So if you click the text, then you have the HTML code that goes with the text. Now, if you're more comfortable with code, now you don't really need to program. These buttons here make life so much easy for you. So if you wanted to add a link, you just have to click on that. It lets you put the link you want to add to your website. So I want to add a link to google.com here, and I want the link to just say Google. And if I click add link, these options allow you to just add one maybe to a blog, or like you can search an existing content on your website. If I want to open in a link tab, in a new tab, sorry, I select that. So if I click on add link, you see that gets added as a code. And if I go to the visual aspect, it's already a link. So if people are reading Google Jazzerize, if they click on Google, let's just save changes so you see what I'm saying. If we update that, so the live view shows on our website, and then we come to our website and we refresh it. So we're going to have Google as a link which we can click, which takes us to Google, and you see how easy it was for us to add it without having to code anything. So we just go back to our website and remove that. So we don't want this. That was just to explain. All right, sweet. So now this is kind of like the about us section. Um I think we're going to call it it's kind of like a title. So if you had, different pages on the website, each page would have its own title, but this one does not necessarily have different pages. It's on a single page. So you don't necessarily have to put a title because this takes them to that exact section. But I'm going to put a title to just make things really understandable. So I would type who we are. I love typing in uppercase. It's not really advisable for SEO options, which is how your website shows up on Google and search engines, if you like. But I love it, so I just do it most of the time. Not all the time. Like if I was typing text now, for instance, I'm not going to make that all uppercase. But for titles and like menu items, I like making it uppercase. Okay, so I think here we want to just put like uh a slogan of the brand and what the brand does. So I'm going to come into, this is an empty space. So the developer put a space between the title and the text. If there's no space there, um, it could be, together. There won't be space for it to breathe. So it's usually advisable to put spaces between elements in sections. Now you can always edit the settings of the space by increasing the height of the space. So if you add one and more distance between the title and the subtitle, that's how you do it. So this is kind of like a thing that you encounter a lot if you're creating a new section, for instance. So let's say you wanted to add a new section to your website and you wanted a title and a subtitle. You can just duplicate this and drag this there and just edit the title and the subtitle. So you just have this simple title subtitle section available to you without you having to drag in individual elements every single time. So this element is a text block, this is an empty space, and this is also a text block. So we're just going to put the slogan of the brand here. We're going to type that we're not a church. Okay, I can't remember. I'm going to go check the social media of the brand and see what they have there. Okay, so now I have that. It says we are EX. All right. So we're done with that. You can change the size, which is kind of like the font here if you want it. This is a visual representation of the size and you'll be selecting, but we're okay with the level font size that is currently displaying here. So we're just going to save changes. If you wanted that deleted, you could always change that and it automatically changes in the code because for it to work, the HTML code kind of has to put the font size there and everything. But don't worry about that. If you want that change, just change that from here. If you want it bold, italics, and just basic editing settings like what you find in Microsoft Word, for instance. So we're going to save changes now. Design options is something you might encounter a lot of times. You will encounter a lot of times when you edit in sections. You don't necessarily have to pay attention to it or have anything to do there, but just for if you need to, is where you can change the spacing between elements and have like general settings that affect like a couple of things. You can change the color of the border and everything like that. Most of the time they do not apply, so don't worry about it. But if you're comfortable and you feel like there's something you have to go edit there, then feel free and go into it. So now we've done this. Next, we have this section. So do we need this section for the brand we're creating or not? If we do, what would we want to put here? So I think for this brand, what I'm going to do is I'll put kind of like what they do, a brief introduction to what they do, and then find different icons to replace the icons that are currently here. So what these are, this images here are actually not icons, but actually images. So you just want to edit that, and if you don't like what is there, you want to add your own version to it. So we don't necessarily have any things that we can put in here, and I don't want to go through the process of having to find icons on the internet right now. You could always search things on Google that you want to place in there, but I feel like they won't really give the vibe that this ones give, so I am not going to. But if you had a designer you were working with and you wanted to make the website even more professional, it would be nice to have things in this kind of but I want to see how it would look if I don't have it. So if it doesn't look good, then I'm actually have to going to go to the trouble of creating my own. So what I'm going to do is just, should I delete it? Okay, I'm not going to delete it just in case I want to put it back or put something else there. So I'll just cancel. If after I'm done I realize I don't need it and I can work without it, then I would just come here and delete the elements image hover. All right, so next we have empty space, and here we have the kind of title of what they do. So I think what we do is let me make this all right, so we could always change all this later if the client looks at it and sees it's not something they want or they have a different idea. But this kind of is the most basic form of the website, which they can now change whatever they want. So we change lives is what I'm going to put here. Um, we our events are, oh no, I don't know if I want to say that. Uh, okay, so now I have a different idea for how I want this to go. I think so. The name of the brand is EX, YEX. So I think I'm just going to put like a YEX kind of vibe on it, because remember I'm taking out these images. So I think what I'm going to do is actually change the size of this to something bigger. Let's say like heading 3, but I think that's what the size of that was. But let's see how it would look, because this is bold. I think bold is set for that, right? Yeah, it is. It was a strong. Our save settings. I also want to change this to bold. So E next. Oh, sorry. Capital E, heading 3. If that's too small, I would always could always come here and change that. I just need to select it and click bold. Save changes. And finally this. Heading 3, bold. Let's change that to X. And then we can have maybe details that start with Y, stuff that start with E, and then stuff that start with X. Hopefully we can find things related to the brand that start with those letters, and it would make that look really good and work without the images which we deleted. So now we're going to refresh that and see how it looks. All right, so here it is, YEX. Now, okay. It looks okay. It looks really great. First of all, I would want to make this bigger, the title, and maybe not have this here if we're having that. And I also want to see if I can change this to black. So let's go back to our settings, YEX. Let's see what we can do. So edit the text block settings, select that. Let's make this a little bit more bigger, and we want to change the color of it. Okay, that should be great. Now, we can't really change the color from here because it's kind of using a central color, which was provided. We could always change that central color. We'll get into that in the next section when we start going to the appearance customize section of our website. But for now, yeah, we can't really change that because the website was sort of built to work on a central color, if that makes sense. So we're going to make this bold and change this to heading 2, I think, and X. All right, so I'm just going to confirm bold, heading 2. Yep, I think everything is done. So update, and then we just see that as different, bigger now. Okay, great. So there it is. Now it is kind of bigger. So we can write things related to the brand from here. So I'm just going to get in touch and see if they can give me content that start with Y and then more that start with E and more that start with X. Okay, so now we have the sentences that we want to put into that. If we go here, then we can change the text and paste in the different things we want to put. Control V, save changes, and we can go back and do that again for the other ones. All right, so for this one, I actually found this really funny because he was trying to figure out what to put there that starts with X, and then I was like, why not just? But I was joking. All right, we're going to paste this. What happened? Okay, I'm not sure why that happened, but we're just gonna put spaces between that. All right, and then he was like, I was like, yeah, we should just put that like that, jokingly, and he was like, oh, that's actually cool because we're a fun brand and everything. And I was like, all right. Besides, just stop trying. Okay, save changes, and then we can update and see how that looks on our website. Now, I personally like going back and forth, edit a change, and then as much as possible, just go try to see what that looks like before I continue. But if you find this long, you could just, if you know what you want to edit, just put them there and sort of once you're done, update and then go check everything out. Okay, so I think I like this section right now. I don't like how this has 3 lines and this has only 2. So I would see if there's something else I can add here, which would make sense and still be related to what they gave. But okay, I might change this to 4 and see if that goes down. And if it doesn't, we might just have to leave that like that. So every year we host 4 flagship events that reach thousands of young people in the city of 4 flagship events. Okay. So if that doesn't change it, we're probably just going to leave it as that. I'm going to refresh this. Um, let's see how that looks right now. So another thing I'm doing while I'm editing is I always check my website on a mobile view. So I have a phone beside me, which I just search up and make sure the website looks exactly like I want it to look. If it doesn't, then I make some changes. So it's really good to have, in addition to you checking on a desktop, you on a laptop, you also want to check on a mobile device. Okay, so this doesn't change. When I see him later, I'm gonna check if maybe he wants to change this or there's some extra words you can add. But for now, we're just gonna leave it at that. Okay, so we're done with the about us section. Actually, no, we're not, because remember we want to add events to the about us section. So we're going to make this kind of like, let me see if this can work for the different events we offer. No, I don't really think so. I think this is more like a a display kind of thing. Or wait, it can actually work. We could have like different pictures that show at different events and then a text. Because the reason why I'm thinking if it wouldn't work, because on mobile it might not show like this. It would just show like this picture first, and then you scroll, you see this next, and then you scroll, you see this, and then you scroll, and all that. That's why I felt it wouldn't work. But I think we can work with that actually. Let's do that. So if we come here, you can see the different pictures. So I think the first thing we see on this section is this image. So now this might look confusing because there's like a lot of sections into sections and inside sections and elements inside sections. Now what you just need to be worried about is the centralized one. Don't worry sort of about the general element, because as you can see it's an element holder. So it's the developers problem. They created, not problem, but like they made it in such a way where you can have elements like that in a holder where you can easily just move them around and stuff. So there's some elements like images where you automatically have a holder created for you. You don't have to create a holder. You just worry about the elements you want. Okay, so now we want to change this image. So there's no section, there's no element inside this. It's simply just an image. So we want to go to into the settings and see if we can change the image that is there. So if you, this is the image, but just a brief recap. So this is the element holder. This is the element itself. Now we want to change the settings of the element, which is a background image element. So we just come here and click on that, and then we can see the image that was put there, and we want to delete that and upload our own image. So what I'm going to do is go into the media library and actually upload the different content that the client has provided for me. I don't want to use the demo content, so I'm just going to cancel that for now. Close. I'm going to open this in a different tab so I don't have to close this. So if I open it in a new tab, I can now delete the media that the developer already has there. Now remember, if you do that, it's going to delete a lot of things you see on your own website, because like all these pictures are default developer pictures, but if you delete them, they're going to get removed. But we don't really need them for now. So if you want it, you can still upload your own content and still have this and then delete these later, but I don't want to do that because it would be harder to delete later. But if I sort of select all of them right now, I don't know why WordPress does not offer you a delete all button. I feel like it would be so much easier, but anyway, since we don't have that, we can just do the extremely hard process of having to select everything we want to delete, and then it'll delete permanently and everything is gone. So if we refresh our website, we'll see that a lot of these things are not there anymore because we just deleted them permanently and we cannot get them back again. We should probably not have deleted these icons because we might need it, but now that we have deleted them, we have to work around it and sort of see if we can do without them, or we might just find something else to use. Bye. All right, so now I'm just going to upload all the different ones that the client provided for me.
Hello, my name is Ibu and I'm a website designer. I have built websites for tons of companies in the United Kingdom and in Nigeria. And I have no knowledge of programming or computer languages whatsoever. I build my websites entirely with WordPress and they look so professional, like they were made by a developer. Now, I've taught lots of students in my physical masterclasses on how to build websites with WordPress, and I've taken tons of people from beginners to absolute experts in WordPress designing. So I've created an online course now on Udemy, and I would love for you to check it out. I am currently running a very huge and fat discount on that. So if you click the link in the description below, you would be able to get this huge discount. You want to learn how to build a website with WordPress. You don't know how to program. You don't know how to code. Don't worry, I got you. We are going to build professional websites together. So click the link in the description below to get started.